Well,
So we were talking about Harvey Weinstein. You guys are saying you're like, you guys are saying you're big fans and love his work and something Shakespeare in Love.
we were talking about it.
What we were doing.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to a special edition Hawk v. Wolf.
We're at Shaun White's house.
Well, I don't know where we are. We're in a studio.
We're by the
with
pool,
this back.
man.
We're by the pool.
Yeah.
With Andrew Schulz.
Yeah.
You're in Hollywood.
Yes, baby.
Yeah.
Is this Hollywood?
Welcome.
No,
Big
but
time.
Look at, yes.
Oh, this is Hollywood.
Yeah, that's what we're at. We're about to
I
have,
don't know what's going on with that.
there's going to be like,
I think this
hors
is a set
d'oeuvres.
for a different podcast, and
You're just jumping
we're
in.
just lucky to be here.
Got you. Okay, that's good. All right.
you look like you should be here, but we don't.
I dress for the occasion.
You look like you're about to go out there and get some sun.
This is my place you're at.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't think
thanks
we
for having
established
us.
that initially.
I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah. You're very
The
welcome.
mystery is solved.
Done. We're there.
Welcome. Well,
So we were talking about Harvey Weinstein. You guys are saying you're like,
fucking
you guys are saying you're big fans and love his work and something Shakespeare in Love.
we were
or like-
talking about
Not
it.
what we were doing.
We were
Remember-
avoiding talking about
Remember
it.
when I was
What?
trying to
Sure.
avoid that conversation?
Welcome
You were
to
like,
the-
but what about Harvey?
Welcome
you
to
kept
the
saying
show,
that. Yeah.
asshole.
Yeah, I'm just listen. I'm just being honest about what you guys want to talk about. I want to talk about how you guys are doing cool tricks and stuff, and you guys are like, but what about OJ? He was
Yeah.
interesting, you know.
Yeah.
So like, you guys are
I
good
knew
at
it,
that,
yeah.
you know.
It sucks that he's
You get
taking
what you
us.
get.
He's
Yeah.
taking us off what we usually talk about, which is OJ Simpson.
Wait, you guys are big
Usually.
into big
Tony
into
and I,
OJ.
that's usually the Hawk versus Wolf episodes. is,
Yeah.
Did he do it or did he not do it? And is it that bad? No.
Yeah.
No, dude. We don't ever talk about that.
No,
stuff.
but you,
No, we
but
talk
before
about
we were recording.
skateboarding and fighting and
Yeah, but that's on the pod. What I'm saying is before when you were defending OJ's choice, like that, right? Like remember before when it wasn't recording and you guys had those crazy opinions about
There is
OJ
no
Oh my
before
Simpson?
God.
times.
You
Oh, that
realize
didn't
there's
happen.
people
No.
that either
Oh.
believe
only
that.
now. It's
Huh?
only here and now. That's it.
They should
Son
believe
of
it
a-
because it's what you guys are into. Like this is your passion, guys. Like it's not all skateboarding. There has to be some sitting down and
I think you're
discussing.
projecting.
You think?
Yeah.
That's on me.
I
Yeah.
could
Oh, all
leave.
right, maybe. Let's be serious.
What about
here.
boxing?
Let's be serious.
You
huh?
box, right?
I train boxing.
good.
I train.
You're good.
I don't know. You've been in there. You've been banging. I used
Yeah,
to.
but you got good hands. I've seen your videos.
All right,
You
I'll
got some
take it.
combos and shit. You stand good. You don't look like amateur at all.
Okay.
You might be more of a pad guy than an actual fight guy, but your pad work is nice.
Yeah, definitely more. I've had like I think they call him a smoker.
Yeah.
So I had that when I was like way younger.
Yeah, that's,
And,
that's
like,
the good time to have it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Now
then you
it's
move on.
too- Yeah, we're done with that.
Yeah.
Like I had a good one,
Yeah.
and now I'm retired. And
Now you
then
What's
do
a
it.
smoker?
it's like an unsanctioned. Well, you know better,
It's a fight. It's an amateur fight.
Oh, okay.
but like unsanctioned.
Yeah.
So there's like
I was
the
hoping a
amateurs.
smoker is like a really solid punch that you have.
Oh no.
I used to have a
the
smoker.
smoker, dude. I
Yeah.
landed that right. No, I had a good, like my school. I went to school up in Santa Barbara, UC Santa Barbara, and they had a thing called Fight Night. And they would have, you do the fight in front of like thousands of kids. It was like once a year. And they just filled up the basketball stadium and they put a ring. And then like you could just sign up. So I was training at Duke's boxing gym out there. And then they're like, you want to do a fight? And I did a fight with a kid who didn't even wear shoes.
And how did that go?
I won.
Yeah.
I won.
Was
It
it
was
close?
No, not even close.
Destroyed him.
Yep.
Good.
But it was very unfair. Like I was much more experienced than
Yeah.
this guy. We shouldn't have even been going there. But
That's pretty much Lewis and I.
yeah.
Yeah.
Though Lewis, I was watching that. There's a clip of you guys going at it,
Yeah.
and like I thought he looked good because I was talking to Lewis about this. I was like, you look good in that clip. And then there's moments where I think you're starting to put it on a little bit.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, you should be careful with this.
I mean, it's an MMA fight. You should be careful anyway.
Yeah.
Like I could get hurt too. I don't think that as well. But
Yeah.
he's crazy. For sure.
He's a wild guy.
Yeah.
He's a wild guy. But it seemed like you were trying to just catch him with something, and then
Well, it wasn't a real fight.
what
was-
happened? What's the
It
story?
was
there?
supposed to be like a little smoke show for the real fight. So it was
And
like
this
a
was at
1 minute
Stank
round.
Fest.
And I'm like, and then the 1 minute round, I tripped on the rope and fell. And people were like, oh, he got you. And I'm like, he did
Yeah.
not get me.
Yeah,
But they were like, let's do another minute. I'm like, let's do 2 minutes. And he's like, no, let's just do let's just do 1 more minute. And I was like, okay, so 1 more minute, I'm gonna come at you a little bit this time. And then I landed a couple shots and I was more watching him for what the real fight is gonna be.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't really trying to fight him. I was trying to see what he does.
Yeah.
So I was like just faking him and seeing what his jab looks like and how he stands and for later.
Yeah.
You know?
And when is that fight?
April 8th.
Is it going to be at
Vegas, the Cannery in Old Vegas.
But is it going to be part of
It's
Ellis
sanctioned,
Mania?
yes. And it's the first time I've ever had an Ellis Mania where the first part is comedy boxing where people have electric dog collars on and they're blindfolded.
Okay.
And then
You would like
there's
it. It's fun.
and then the commission shows up for the last fight where it's a sanctioned pro
damn.
MMA fight where I'm fighting.
And do you have any experience in like jujitsu and that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. But majority is in kickboxing, or
Yeah.
you would say, okay.
I'm more of a boxer for sure.
Okay. Okay.
But I definitely know how to grapple and do all that.
So if it gets to the ground,
He's fucked.
okay. That's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to understand.
I can see what he's
Yeah.
doing. He's definitely because that's my worst martial art because I don't do it as much.
Jujitsu.
Yeah,
Yeah. So he's trying to maximize.
he's doing
in
that
jujitsu,
because if
yeah.
he takes me down, he's going to be heavier.
He's a
'cause
big guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's that, and he's going to pull on my knees and stuff because he knows of my skateboard injuries.
Yeah.
But like he has totally has a chance. It's just
Of course.
It's just, I don't. You know, when I fight, I don't fucking play at all. And I've already been in a couple of pro fights where I made a lot of wrong decisions and I was in a lot of bad spots. So I know me.
Yeah.
Like if you put me in a bad spot, you catch me, it's not over. It's
Mm.
nowhere near over.
Okay.
Like you can think it's all done and I'll be like, okay, well then go on, finish it.
Yeah.
Because you've never finished me. I never lose.
Have you
I'm
been
undefeated.
finished? Have you been finished?
Fuck no.
Never.
I'm undefeated on Sure Dog, 2-0. I lost boxing fights though.
Sure Dog.
I don't know what that is.
It's just where all the boxing records are. It is,
Oh,
right?
it is. Okay.
That is the site where you can get anybody's boxing record.
It's partly comedy because I'm not really a fighter.
Yeah.
But it's on paper that I am.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of funny.
It's confirmed.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's not real. It's not.
As long as you don't have an asterisk next to it, you're right.
It still wouldn't really matter. The people I fought were bums. Like, you
But
know,
here's the thing, like,
Are you on there?
No. But any like marquee fighter, their first boxing specifically, MMA is just a little bit different, but like boxers, the first fucking 10 fights are tomato
tomato
cans
cans, yep.
anyway. Yeah. So I don't think your 2 wins are any less valid than Canelo's first 2 wins.
right. Well, I mean, because the second fight, I got given multiple choices to fight somebody. And I wasn't doing it to get a knockout on some bum. I was like, this is the only pro fight you're ever going to have. I picked the guy that my camp was like, if you beat him, that's a real fight, dude. And I was like, well, then I want that guy. I didn't want to, because they gave me guys where I was like, you realize that guy's knocked out in like 15 seconds. He can't stand up. And they're like, yeah, it'll be a highlight knockout reel. And I'm like, what kind of sick
Wow.
bastard are you?
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to fight a guy that I think that might beat me.
Dude,
Like,
that's why
the
MMA
whole point.
That's why like UFC is much better than boxing right now. And I grew up as like a boxing enthusiast. Like my dad used to cover boxing. Like
Right.
he would go to like Ali's camps and shit like that.
Oh,
he was
shit.
a huge boxing fan. Yeah, like he worked in the news business. So he would like go and he's got like video of him shadow boxing Muhammad Ali.
Shit.
It's great. Yeah, it's like insane, right? Like
so sick.
yeah. So like I'm like this legacy boxing fan, and I start to watch MMA, and I'm like into MMA. And the cool thing about the UFC is that everybody's under the banner of the UFC. So it behooves the UFC for that fight to be interesting, not for it to be easy.
Yeah.
Whereas in boxing, your promoter promotes you,
Yep.
and then they get the tomato can
Yeah.
to lose to you so they could build your record up so
Yep.
you could hopefully have one big fight.
Yep.
So even the undercard on a UFC card or like these,
Fighting for their lives.
it's awesome. Sometimes they're better
Yeah.
because these guys know, like, if they have a spectacular knockout, not only do they get the win bonus, but they're also going to be on ESPN. They can call out whoever the fuck they want.
Yep.
By design, it's a much better system. Now, I know there's like issues with the pay, and obviously I want fighters to make all the fucking money in the world.
It is a little unfair because they have such a big they own so much of MMA, and it's so hard to make it into the UFC, even at the bottom level.
Yeah.
And to know that you get a couple grand, it's like, did you know how much training, how much pain you went through for the UFC to even call you?
Yeah.
And they're going to give you a murderer. They're going to give you a guy that is a murderer, and they're going to give you $5,000. I'm like, $5,000. Like, I got to pay the camp. I got to pay the trainer. I got to pay taxes.
You're still working
like all this stuff. The dudes are like they're like walking away with $1,000 and
It's
like going to hospital.
Trying to be a pro vert skater in the 90s.
Yeah. Well, dude, that's the thing. It's like, I think this idea.
Yeah, it's exactly like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Get yourself there. You might win $1,000.
Yeah. Oh, it's actually worse. Yeah,
But
in
you
the
probably
90s,
won't.
it was worse.
But that's a great thing. Like, even someone told me surfing nowadays, like even guys on the tour, professional surfers are making like $50,000. Is that true?
I'm sure.
Like
if
the
you're
lower
not-
ones, you mean?
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you're not on the in
No,
the
but
top
on
10
the
type of stuff.
WCT or whatever it is, a professional touring surfer, you're going around the world, you're making $50,000 a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless you've got the big contracts and you're top 3 or top 5.
I mean, I don't know. I guess
Skateboarding's like
It's
that.
a huge disparity, and it's the same with skateboarding through the years too. If even like in the X Games, before the X Games were bigger, you had to just get there, and you might get this. If you're in the top 10, you're gonna make some okay money. If you're not, you're getting like $1,000 at the most.
what was the most that you made for winning an X Games gold?
I think when I was in it, it was probably close to 20 grand.
Even that doesn't sound that like
That
for
was big at that time.
Yeah.
but like for the level of fame that you had, like I think you actually have like fame dysmorphia. And like those like skinny chicks that think they're fat, like you have the opposite. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't think you realize how famous you are. You know what I mean? Like,
But it has nothing to do with the paychecks.
no,
I mean,
but even like right now, that was a lot for then. For how famous you guys were, the idea that you would make 20 grand for winning,
for winning, yeah.
that boggles my fucking mind.
Yeah, and I was the guy that got like 8th. And
So,
I
$500.
remember, I was getting like 500 or 1,000, and I remember thinking 20 grand, I could retire if I won 20 grand.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
how poor
yeah.
skateboarders were.
Yeah.
Do you
Like I
remember
thought 20 grand was like more than enough
All the
for
money in
first
the world.
place.
1995? They had the Hard Rock World Championships.
Yeah,
Remember that
yeah,
in
I was
Newport?
there.
10 grand first place. It was so far beyond any prize money we'd ever seen that it was. But I remember it. Everyone in the contest was like 10G.
Yeah, we're
dude,
killing ourselves.
10G. And my friends at the time were like, dude, if you win 10G, you're taking us out.
Yeah.
Like we are going crazy.
Yeah.
And I did. I won the 10G.
Did you take them out?
I took him out.
Okay, good.
I spent roughly $500 on the night,
Yeah, bowling.
which was huge
Out
at
of
the time.
control. Yeah.
And not a coincidence that we ended up at the Hard Rock bar.
Yeah.
Where they made me do shots until I barfed.
That's victory right
Woo.
there. I
Isn't
got,
that cra-
I got
that's
knocked
like-
out in that contest, and I went blind in one eye, and they wanted to make me go to hospital, and I didn't want to go to hospital because I was Australian and I didn't have a athlete visa at the time, and I didn't have insurance. So I had to write, because they were giving me this gas mask underneath the ramp, and they were trying to get me in the ambulance. I'm like, I don't want to go to the ambulance. And I didn't want to say because I don't have insurance. And they're like, why? And I'm like, I'm fine. And they're like, you can't see out of one of your eyes. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm okay. And they were like, well, you have to sign this thing and write why you won't go.
You declined help.
Yeah. And I'm better now, but I was definitely like borderline completely illiterate at that time. Like I learned from being on the radio how to read and write a little better. I can't write. So I just said,
To this day, you don't know how to write?
I can now, but still pretty bad. But I just said I'm okay because I can spell I'm and okay. And he's like, that's what your reasoning is? And I'm like, I can't spell any more than that.
Wait,
Can you
why'd
just let me go?
Where did you?
I didn't go to school, really.
But what is it called? A Bogan? Isn't
Yeah,
that what
I'm a
they?
Bogan
Are
for
you
sure.
like big time
Fuck
Bogan?
yeah. Yeah, I grew up, doing burnouts and bong rips and punching people in
He
the
didn't
face.
choose the Bogan life. The Bogan
The
life. chose
Bogan
him.
life chose him.
That sounds so tough when you say that.
Do people know what a Bogan is? Like the people who listen, you think?
I think
little
we have
bit.
explained it a few
Yeah.
it's like
times, yes.
kind of like your version of like a hillbilly or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, kinda.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
a
like it.
criminal.
Oh, I didn't know that they were like up to no good. I thought it was just like a country dude.
Fuck nah. Nah, we're against the man.
Like a hooligan, kind of.
Yeah.
But
Like
also,
like a cowboy, like a Wild West type.
Yeah,
of
you know,
No,
I mean, we
I don't
weren't
think
allowed to shoot guns in the street because it's a different country, and that was like you're going to jail for the rest of your life. So nobody did that, but you know, fights and people get headbutted a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of like AC/DC playing and people doing burnouts in people's driveways and setting fire to stuff a lot, and you know, just a lot of headbutts. Really, everyone just kind of headbutted each other a lot. So like,
Hey everybody, Jason Ellis, mate. That's a lot of names for myself. Hawk versus Wolf, Tony Hawk, not here right now, but I know that he uses DoorDash. I don't care. What's he going to do? Sue me? I will beat him. I will beat him. I hope he doesn't listen to this ad, but he will not sue me. I will physically pound him into the ground. Wait, now. This is the best DoorDash read ever. Look, let's say it's late at night and you didn't eat because you were working all the time and you did stand up and you're a bit nervous and you didn't feel like eating. Then when you get home, it's like 10 o'clock at night and all of a sudden you're like, man, I'm so hungry, my stomach hurts. And if I don't eat anything, I'd be hard to go to sleep. And if I don't go to sleep, I got to get up early and skate. So I need something to fill my stomach. What about if you wake up real early in the morning and your son's like, Dad, I want breakfast. You didn't buy pancakes. He got Taco Bell the other day in the morning. Got here fast. It probably came out just as quick, but that's none of my business. DoorDash, everybody. DoorDash, everybody knows about it. If you're in a tight bind or you just want to not go to restaurants anymore, I totally get it. I relate. Don't go. Just use DoorDash. The summer of DoorDash, get 50% off your first order of $15. Use promo code WOLF at checkout when you spend $12 or more. That's 50% off your first order, everybody. Come on. Support the show. Get half off your food. Code WOLF for 50% off your first order of a value of $15 and up. Mandatory legal copy. Wait, now I'm just being Joe Biden. Dash Pass benefits only on eligible orders that meet the minimum subtotal. Terms apply. Sorry, guys, I have to say that. DoorDash. Hey, everybody. Jason Ellis for Hawk versus Wolf talking about NordVPN. I don't know how to use computers. I don't know how to use any of that stuff. I'm reading the stuff and it says, like, if you're bored of US Netflix, then you can take it for a spin in the UK or Japan. NordVPN can click with the click of a button. You can do that. I mean, I want to do that. I'm sick of American Netflix. I didn't even know there was another Netflix to get. But I guess NordVPN can get you that. That's cool, right? I mean, I would do that. And there's something about privacy thing as well. I don't care about that because I'm on the internet with my pants off. So it's pretty much over for me. So maybe I'm not the demo, but NordVPN, if you are worried about your pecker going live wire on the internet, I don't think it's even what it means. If you know what this thing is, I got a code for you. So NordVPN.com/wolf to get your subscription started today. That's NordVPN.com/wolf, everybody. Check them out. Like razzle dazzle your day.
What are you trying to just get as much like head trauma? Like, what's your
Yeah, I know you're right.
Like,
I know,
it
you were
is
explaining,
peculiar, right? Like the choices you've made are like only head trauma.
Well, I feel like,
like
I've always been pretty dumb.
Headbutts, yeah.
And recently, I think from having that radio show, something happened and I got money. I went to therapy and I kind of got some things straightened out and I kind of switched on and started to kind of gather some intelligence and then was like, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're already in. This is like, what?
It's too late.
What else would you do now?
Yeah.
You know, like I'm trying to be a comedian, but I'm not thinking that's going to turn into you at all. I'm like, this is just like the thing that keep me going. But I definitely don't want to fight anymore.
Really?
The only
So
reason
Lewis's
I'm doing
last one.
Yeah, I don't even want to do this because I don't want to hurt him. I like him.
Yeah.
I don't want to hurt anyone.
Good.
Like I don't want to. Like if I get him in something, please tap, dude. Like I don't want to break your arm. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Like the last guy I fought, he didn't tap, and it freaked me out.
And what'd you do? You broke it?
Yeah,
Oh.
he verbally tapped, as in he just started screaming.
After
He
you
didn't
broke his
say
arm.
tap. I caught it after working on it for a while, and then once I got it past the return, and I knew it. And I started pushing it back up, and I was like, "Tap, dude, tap." Even though he'd beat the shit out of me for 3 rounds, I was still nice. And he didn't say anything, and he just started screaming, and I felt it, like when you snap a tree branch.
Come on.
Oh
come
my
on,
I just felt all these things going ping, 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 and I'm like, "Tap, you idiot!" And then the ref pulled me off him, and I went to go over to him, like, "Are you okay?" And the ref's like, "Get the fuck away!" And I'm like, "He's armed."
Yeah.
And they're like, "You won." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, but fuck." That guy is so crazy. So, yeah, I don't want to do it anymore. But Lewis really wants to fight against someone who's better than him and feel what it's like to be a fighter. And that's all I ever wanted.
Yeah.
So, for me to deny him, I thought Kyle Kingsbury, like Shane Carwin, Keith Jardine, Uriah Faber, all these dudes. And all those dudes did that because they were like, this dude wants to
See what it's like.
He wants to see what it's like, and I will forever be in debt to all of them. Even the one when they beat the shit out of me, I was like, "This is one of the greatest things that's ever happened." Thank you. But now that I'm older and going back to your question, it's pretty stupid.
Yeah,
that's why I want to stop. But I still want to skate more than ever. And I hit my head there too.
Yeah, we definitely.
I just don't know how else to do me. You know?
But maybe you're one of those like you're like Tony. Like it's harder for you to get the CTE. Didn't you say that?
I think it's stupid to say that, but
but I don't want to be cavalier in that.
Remember you said you were invincible to CTE? Remember you went out publicly and you made a statement and said
that was recorded, so we can go back to that and we can verify that I did not say that. I did get a test that says I am not susceptible to it. I'm not saying
everybody can get it, but some people it's harder, I guess.
Sure, and I approach my skating not careless, but a little more cavalier than I do now.
You
Much
did
more
back
cavalier.
in the day.
I did, and I look
wild.
back at stuff I did, and I look at it now, and like that was so careless.
Wait, like what?
Jumping between 2 7-story buildings.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
I was thinking about today. I got knocked out on doing the loop, shooting Wild Boys, broke my pelvis.
I remember
concussion,
the loop,
and came back to do the loop again.
Yeah, and did it?
No, I didn't actually.
I thought there's a video of you doing that loop.
I've done it. I did it way before that. I did
maybe
times
that's
before
what
that.
I'm.
Lots of times.
I did it many times before that, but then I came back to do it during our tour, and I fell pretty bad. Didn't like it wasn't this major injury, but at the same time, it was like, why go back to it?
Yeah.
And I look at it now, I was like, what is your problem? with that?
Yeah.
So I'm more mature.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe the stakes are higher.
Sure.
It's like you've accomplished all the things that you dreamed of. So it's like doing these things no longer cement you. You're already cemented. So now the risk is way higher.
For sure, breaking my leg gave me a real quick
reality check.
Yeah, reality check where it was like, wait a second. Why?
At that point, when you came back and you missed it, do you realize how addicted you are to it?
You mean after I broke my leg?
Yeah, like feeling
Sure.
like the longing.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Still, but like Jason knows now, when I go, if I get a little victory, I'm good. And
you can chill.
And
We're
year
both
ago,
in the same pocket right
2
now.
years
so it's
ago,
pretty cool.
if I got a little victory, let's build on that.
Yeah.
Let's see what else is happening
Never
today.
enough.
Yeah.
It's
Never enough. Yeah. So now we're definitely a little more mature in our approach, where it's like, cool, we got that one trick today.
Yeah.
We're sweaty. Let's go.
Yeah.
But you know how it is with like, are you not obsessed with your podcast and comedy?
Of
'Cause
course.
you just crank it out all day, like you have to be.
Absolutely. I can't speak for you guys. I'm just imagining that you feel this way. We're very fortunate to like be in love with something that provides income.
Right.
And it's like, it's a pretty awesome thing because the long days, they feel fruitful.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I'm like not grinding away at some bank selling fucking mortgages or whatever.
Right.
Like
But
that.
we all have done it for no money.
we started with no money.
Right.
Because
That's
the
what I mean,
love
that-
was there, and then we built it and we're able
Yeah.
to make some money on it. So it's like it's just this. I guess for the addiction is kind of easy. It's fine. It's fruitful. I love going to the office. I literally am excited to go in and do
Yep.
a podcast or like
Right.
even get on stage. Like right now, I'm in between touring, so like I don't like wasting the time on stage. You know, like I if I'm on there, it's because I want to work on something or there's something I really want to share with people. And like right now,
How
I'm
do you waste
still
time on stage?
just doing the same bits you already know
Right.
work, just so you could pat yourself on the back.
Got
And
it.
sometimes we need that. Like sometimes we need confidence boosters. Like all of us. Like you feel, you know, they say it in boxing, it's a tune-up fight. You know, you're coming off a big loss. You might need
Yeah.
a tune-up to make you realize, yo, I can do this. I got this, you know? And I think that in comedy, we need that as well. But I'm at this stage where like I just did this special and now I want to like reflect on the life changes. Like I haven't really written about being married. You know, I'm probably going to start trying to have some kids with my wife. Like I have like money now for the
Yeah.
first time. Like
That's always good for storytelling.
yeah, but like the people who are dishonest about it, it doesn't work.
Dishonest about the money they
Yeah,
make?
like some
Well, they're
people
still pretending to be broke and
Yes.
they're doing comedy
Or
and
trying to be
and
humble,
they're
like-
filling a whole
Oh.
whole venue. It's like you're not really broke anymore.
you're not broke. But that and
Yeah.
that's also okay because it's like if you're authentic about what your new life is like, I think people relate to it.
Yeah.
You know, like people want to, I don't know. I think people want like honest opinions about change. And I'm excited to reflect on that a little bit.
Yeah.
You know?
I can see how. I feel like in radio, I was the underdog the whole time. And then the show got really big and famous people were on my show and they were like befriending me off the air. You know what I mean? I like had Slash texting me and shit.
Yeah.
And at one point I was like, you know what I mean? I can't afford a coffee. And now I'm, you know, I got a turbo Porsche and Slash texts me. And some people are like, oh, you know what I mean? Like you fucking went Hollywood. I'm like, what do you think half the plan was? Like,
yeah.
I wanted to be successful.
Yeah.
I want to
But
be really good at it.
Also, did you hear me talking about what I wanted?
Yeah,
all
I,
these years?
yeah, I think I mentioned it a few
This is what I
times too.
wanted.
Yeah.
If so many times I'd hear him say, if I ever had money,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be doing this and this and this and
I
this.
text Slash.
Yeah.
And
First thing I
drive
do
a
is text
turbo
Slash, then do a
Porsche.
burn
Oh,
out
it was
before.
way beyond that.
You
Well,
gotta
that's
lie.
what you were projecting back then. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I'm still projecting it.
Wait, you went to UCSB
Yeah.
from New York?
Yeah.
And then back to New York.
Back to New York, yeah.
That's quite a shift.
Yeah, I grew up surfing weirdly. So like I wanted to be
Yeah.
by the water.
I was gonna say because my siblings went to UCSB
Really?
and my brother's a surfer.
Yeah.
his whole life, and very much that's why he went there.
Yeah, because it's right on the water.
Yep.
Literally.
Did you learn to surf there or in New York?
No, I grew up surfing in New York. My
Where do you
folks had
surf
like
in New York?
there's
Sorry.
like Rockaway, also Long Island. So like I would like spend my summers on Long Island.
Is there like a reef break or
No, it's like there's a place called Fire Island. Do you know
Yeah.
Fire Island?
I heard of it?
You heard of it? So like basically my parents had a place there and I would just like, you know, surf all summer.
Oh,
and it's
cool.
just like sandbar. It's just the best.
Yeah.
Nobody out there.
You never skated?
I skated when I was younger. I skated and all the time. Matter of fact, I landed a kickflip once in my life.
Yeah.
And
And
that was it. I'm done. I'm out.
well, I tried many more times, but I landed once in my life and Kelly Slater saw it.
Wow.
So, and keep in mind, I'm a surfer in New York.
Yeah.
So like the guy that was renting out like an apartment on our floor was also like an architect for these North Shore houses. You know, like Quicksilver's got a house, all these
Yeah.
houses on the North Shore of Hawaii. And they were doing a surf video called like Thicker Than Blood. Thicker Than Water. I forget the name of it. And they were just doing the video. And then here I am just kind of like skating outside of my apartment building. And then fucking Rob Machado walks in. I'm like, is that fucking Rob Machado? Like
Yeah.
the Malloy brothers walk in. I'm like, what the fuck is? I'm the only New Yorker that knows who these people are.
Yeah.
And then I do a kickflip, and then Kelly Slater goes, "Oh, nice." And I look, I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like how? Like this is like the biggest. This is the most famous person I've ever seen in my life at this point.
Yeah.
And nobody knows who the fuck he is because it's New York City.
Was that when
Nobody
they
has
were
a surfboard.
having that? I think a Quicksilver, a surf event,
No, I know what you're talking about. This is
And it
like
got-
way.
it got hurricaned out.
Yeah, this is even way before that.
You were
This is
young,
like
right?
I was young.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, of course I grew up skating. I mean, I skated with a Vision skateboard.
Yeah, me too.
You know, the ones that had just like the
I
little
was on Vision
blip.
Streetwear when I was 16. That was my
Really?
first real deal.
That
yeah.
was the sponsor.
Yeah.
Dude, they were sick. Like that
Yeah.
branding and everything like that was just really cool.
Especially at that time, because I used to have like matching head to toe Vision Streetwear shit with
Yeah.
the Vision Streetwear board, and you look like an idiot.
Yeah.
But in the 80s, people were like,
looking like idiots.
you. There's no way you went and bought that. Are
Yeah.
you on the team? And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude,
Yeah.
this guy had like the bum bag thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they were wearing it. I think I
Yeah.
might even did a beret at one point. I was like, they're sending me it. I'm wearing it. Like just dickhead walking around like a fucking ass clown.
I grew up on Astor Place in Lafayette Street in New York. I don't know.
that's the street spot.
So I don't know. So like if you saw the movie Kids,
Yeah.
like those, like the Harold Hunter, I used to see him all the time, like
Yeah.
just skating Astor Place. There's this cube, and there basically the reason why everybody skated there is because there wasn't much like car traffic, and they had this like long, like kind of grindable. It was a long
Ledges.
flat space, and there was like
Yep.
a long grindable just curb, and it
Yep.
just had like, and so I saw the guys skating outside there like all the time. And then obviously you see like the movie, but like, you know, skate culture was very much, now it's, guys, so it's interesting. Like now skate culture is like fashion.
Well,
Back
I was
then,
gonna say
yeah.
at the Astor. I mean that crew, that was one of kind of the OG New York street
Supreme
crew,
is-
and that's where Supreme started.
Yeah.
As a skate shop.
Yeah. But now it's so interesting to see like high fashion influenced by
right?
skate.
Yeah.
The
And then Louis Vuitton did a big thing the other day and had like a bunch of pros giving him a
Pros?
shoe or something. Yeah, they were like like Stevie Williams was like at the on the runway or
yeah, like
something.
walking
Sick.
on it.
Because
Yeah.
they used to, the high fashion brands would sprinkle in skating, but always just be some model holding it behind his head,
Yeah.
something dumb like that. Or
Didn't you?
I went to the Dior fashion show. Yes.
But what about? Thank you.
you.
No, didn't you?
Yes,
Didn't you
that was a-
recently get that? What was the last thing you went to where they gave you a bunch of clothes?
That was a Dior.
right, and they gave him pants that were a tone that was supposed to match the Venice skate park.
Yeah, they said that's the vibe of them. The color scheme is concrete at Venice Skate Park.
And did a lot of the people at the skate park point that out when you were skating
No.
on them? Like,
I
dude,
did.
you're matching the park, dude.
I
No,
just
you didn't
went.
go to the park immediately with those pants on.
With my- yeah, because
To be
they
the world's
dressed me
biggest
up for the
kook
occasion.
ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder how that would have gone over.
Nobody
Going
would have
to the
caught
park.
it, but if you had brought it up, I'll tell you how it would have gone.
Yeah.
You would have been fried.
Does that exist in skate culture?
What?
The kind of like roasting camaraderie?
Oh yeah,
Is there like a ball busting with it?
yeah. It's
Really?
It's more pleasant these days. Everyone's way more accepting.
Yeah, in our day, in the
It was
80s,
way
early
harsher.
90s,
Really?
one
Fuck.
wrong
Ruthless?
move and you're just on the
Yeah.
you're cut.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's where I feel like that's where my comedy skills
I was gonna
began.
say
I used to
he rose
destroy
above
people.
Not rose above it. He was sort of the king of it to
Really?
destroy people.
Because I did things, I wasn't like the best guy, but everything I did was perfect. I do everything correctly. And if you don't, I'll point it out and not be your friend either. Because I'm like, are you sincerely grabbing that
Yeah,
like
but,
that?
But this attitude endures. He still runs it like that.
No, I don't. I like lots of people and they're the worst skateboarders ever, and I like them.
Like who?
Nope.
Come on, man.
I kind of want to do it.
Give me the
They're-
jewels.
Okay, this guy's house, Shaun White.
Yeah.
He does fronts of theirs, and he like grabs it in between the leg, and he looks like he's taking a shit on a toilet bowl.
What do you want? Like lean.
You got to tuck your knee in,
Yeah,
dude.
tuck
Like you
it
got to
like
get the
that.
shit. Like you got to get your leg to flow back, and then your hand
Mm.
flows back after. He just goes like, yeah, and then on the way back in.
So
like
just
it's
no style.
no respect
Yeah.
for the front side air.
Yeah.
I'm like, I
no
get it.
respect for the president. Function over fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, I get it. You came from snowboarding, like your bindings are on. You don't know the difference, but little things like that would just irk me. Like I couldn't. And he was amazing, but because of that, I was just like, dude. And he can't even do like a Smith grind. Like, get the fuck out of here. This dude's a joke.
So he sucks at skateboarding or what?
Yeah, according to me, yeah.
Yeah, according
According
you.
to him,
Yeah, yeah.
At that time.
Yeah,
in
even
his
though-
life.
He's amazing.
At skateboarding.
Fuck yeah, incredible.
Yeah. The
Eh.
thing about Shaun was that he could do all these things very quickly because he was so used to getting airborne and whatnot. But he would learn a trick. He didn't even know the name of it. And sometimes it was a trick that had never been done. But he didn't even know how to explain what he had done.
Because he was replicating the snowboard tricks.
A little bit, or he just saw something that worked and he flipped his board one way and he caught it. And then I was like, dude, no one's ever done a varial heel flip
Yeah.
and caught it frontside air like that. That's never existed. So It was fascinating to watch because he was just he was an outlier,
Yeah.
and he definitely got a lot of slack for it. But
Yeah.
he maintained.
And his mum came to all the contests. That probably didn't help at the start.
Yeah, but he maintained. He ripped, and then when
Did
when
he
he
win?
became
Oh, yeah.
but when he became Olympian, he was all in snowboarding.
That was it. Yeah, because you can't be a two-sport athlete.
Not win.
Not
win.
not at that level.
I think it
don't
seemed
think
like
he
that
thought
anyway.
that. I don't think it's. I also. I mean, at some point, you're dealing with a lot of other people that are embedded in your or invested in your
Yeah,
success.
they're
So
like, don't go blow out your ACL with
Exactly.
this other
Yes.
sport.
Yeah.
I see you at the sponsor saying. I wonder if it like I've seen this with surfing. I wonder if it's same with skateboarding now, where like as money enters the sport, you want to increase your competitive advantage. So like people start like lifting weights, they start like eating right, and this.
He never did it, but a lot of us did, yeah.
So you
It
already
got
did that
professional.
back then. So now and even now, is it more professional?
Way more, yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
There's
More now.
personal trainers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And,
but
but
also
it makes sense. There's so much money to be made.
but also because these other companies came in that have vast experience in that, like Nike, and they're like, this is-
maximize athlete.
and here are the resources to you. They're available to you, and you don't have to pay for them. None of us had money for any of that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, or we were really interested in either. Because
Yeah.
if at some point, you chose skateboarding because it set you apart, and because it became your identity. You love that you were an outcast. You're part of the misfit crew, and to go into some sort of training regiment means that you have
You're one of the many.
that
Yeah.
means you're just crossed over back into the mainstream life, and who wants that?
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to. That's what we're fighting against over here.
I
So there
think-
was that attitude for sure. At some point, the line got blurry, and this stuff got serious. Like it was serious business.
I think mainstream
Yeah.
sports triggered it. I think you start seeing NBA players and NFL players doing all these weird training things and having coaches, and they're the highest paid, cutting edge athletes of the world.
Mm.
And then you become the cutting edge athlete in skateboarding. You're like, a lot of
Yeah,
guys
we're like-
looked up to them.
we're literally stitching our chins up ourselves. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like-
and LeBron's spending $1 million a year on his body.
right.
And you're like,
Right.
There's
And then-
maybe a middle ground somewhere in here.
But I'm older. If I don't do a bunch of stuff, I can't skate. Like
Yeah.
I have to do other stuff. I have to cross train. I have to ice plunge. If I don't do it, I can't skate.
Yeah.
I just can't walk.
Stretch.
But
all
in,
that
in
kind of
our
shit.
day, especially when I was young, the extent of you being thought of as an athlete is that you didn't party.
Yeah.
You didn't party at the events. You
That was
didn't.
him.
You weren't out the night before with all the dudes. So you're
Oh,
a
you
nerd.
didn't party
no. I mean, because it affected my skating. And I
because
was-
you wanted to win.
I just
We all
wanted-
wanted to win, but
it-
wanted
He
figured
wanted
it
more.
out.
But I
Yeah.
also,
we didn't figure it out.
I
It's like,
just-
why can't I skate today? And
Wasn't
I
even
drank a
that-
bottle of whiskey last night. I don't get
Yeah,
why
that.
I'm not winning.
And I saw it from afar because luckily I had the advantage of being younger than most of the other pros. As a pro, and I was watching them like, oh, those guys they're destroying themselves. And I watched them the next day; they couldn't skate. But also, yeah, sure, I wanted to do well in the contest, but my motivation was more, I just want to skate my best.
Yeah.
And I'm watching all these other skaters that are kind of limiting themselves just because they want to be part of the party scene.
Dude, when he was real
Yeah.
young, he would win the contest or whatever, do well in the contest. And then when the contest ended, he would work on a trick that he's never done before. When I did well in a contest, I was immediately at the bar asking people for Coke. That was the
That pretty much
difference.
sums it up.
Yeah.
There you go.
Like, I'm not waiting around here to do another trick. I just fucking, and that's like, I didn't win. I got third. I'm just
Okay.
like, woo.
So what's the age difference between you guys?
Like 4 years. What are you?
Yeah, I'm 54.
I'm
And
50.
okay, so you're younger, so you already knew him coming up,
Oh, yeah. No, I'm from the generation under him.
right?
So my idol was him.
Was
Bones
him.
Brigade.
So I'm trying to understand what it was like professionally when he came around.
He was Elvis.
But I was
Like,
But
yeah,
alive.
is it Jordan? Like, because that's
Fuck
how I
it.
always
Oh,
see you.
fuck
You're
it.
Jordan, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, is that what everybody around was? Everybody around just going, what the fuck is happening?
Well, I
Like-
think the difference with skateboarding is people's styles counted more than ability. So there were people that liked like Christian Hosoi or Chris Miller and Tony Hawk wasn't their favorite skateboarder, but everybody knew that the greatest skateboarder is Tony Hawk. It's just you might like somebody else's style a little bit better. So he's not your favorite skateboarder, but
But
when
you
he shows
can't
up,
disregard.
you
Yeah.
shit bricks.
Yeah.
That's, when he
And-
first came to
and-
But
Australia.
they were definitely, but people were divided very much so in those days. So there was two camps, and one was all about style, like he said, Christian Osoy, Chris Miller,
Yeah.
and then the other was, I was all about tricks. So my style was not fluid. It wasn't flowy, and it was more robotic because I'm just trying to get to my
How do
board
I-
to move it around.
Yeah.
I eventually figured out how to sort of be more fluid with that stuff.
Yeah.
But at that time, they were just like, oh, that dude's just a circus trick skater. He's a robot.
Really?
That's real early.
Real early, yeah, for sure.
'Cause
Because
in the
they
end,
didn't
he started-
understand what you were doing, and oftentimes different things you have to criticize. That's like the knee-jerk
I think people
reaction.
were jealous
Yeah, exactly.
because he was onto something.
But
that,
but at the same time, like I was jealous of how Christian Osoy skated.
I remember you saying that when you were on the pod.
Yeah, because I'd
like,
watch him like, dude, how does he make a backside air look like that?
Yeah.
My backside airs are purely functional. They're just for me to get speed and to do something else out of it. And his is like a painting.
yeah.
But anyway, so it was weird. And then it was weird to suddenly sort of come into my own and then be on top and winning a lot, because that got very strange and lonely. And
Well, yeah, it's definitely lonely on the top. But I'm just like so curious about like that time, and like the discrepancy was huge. In other words, between like you and the next person. I mean, it's probably easier to ask you that question, but like
Christian Osoy was the second to him, and every now and then Christian would do a ride that was compatible, and you could argue that he won and Tony didn't. But if you were being fair and you were scoring it as he had this much time and he had this much time, how many tricks did he do? What did he do?
Yeah.
And knowing Christian, like Christian could do a 10-foot air with his fucking eyes closed.
Yeah.
So that's not that gnarly. And when he got tall, he could do a 10-foot air. So he'd do a 10-foot air. Was it as artistic as Christian's? No, but it was 10 foot. Then he'd do the McTwist and all these, then the 720 that no one else at the time could do. And then in the last 15 seconds, he'd do like fucking 3 things that no one even knew what the fuck they were. And that would just shut down the fucking show. But because, as he said, there was this cool section.
Right.
It was like, you're not going to give the fucking robot I mean, like Christian did like a fucking 12-foot air. And I'm like, that's like 1 foot higher, dude.
Yeah.
Like, shut the fuck up. Like, I get it. He's got Lycra pants on. I wanted to give him the victory. I was I was on his side.
Yeah.
But I'm also a pure skateboarder. I answer to skateboarding only.
Yes.
And he is the guy. He fucking made it. He did all the things that everyone like took a little piece of. People that are the hot shit today, they took it all off him. And if it
Really?
wasn't
I
for
don't know
him,
about that, but
we'd still be Christians. I love Christian, but the last trick he invented, that was fucking 25 years ago. This
Yeah.
dude invented 1,000 tricks, 1,000, not 1,000 shit ones, 1,000 hitters that we all still use.
So
Sorry,
I
dude,
mean-
he fucking hates when
well, that
he gets
very
smoke blown up.
kind.
But
I know.
have to
I
do
know.
it.
It's
1,000 tricks,
uncomfortable.
but thank you.
It's just
Sorry,
for
dude.
me when I'm just trying to understand like what is happening in that moment within a sport, right? So like Michael Jordan comes into a sport and the sport is forever different.
Yeah.
Shaq came in and it was forever different. Like certain people do that with comedy. Certain people do that, and you're doing it with skateboarding where like you're doing things people didn't know could be done yet.
Yep.
Right?
A lot.
Yeah, that's
Sometimes
a
too much.
transformative experience to be a
Personal
part
opinion.
of. Yeah, yeah.
I was like,
we've been-
slow down,
Yeah,
man.
calm down.
I just learned tower grab 540. Now you're doing 1-footers? Fuck
I think that
off.
was it, though. I would tap into something that I was tapping into a technique, and it was like, oh, this hasn't been done before. How far? What else can I do with it?
I mean, that's pretty exciting to do what hasn't been done in a sport. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the first guy dunking.
It was super fun, but it was that was the thing. It was the skate industry was highly critical and divided. I used to get, and yes, it was in the earlier days, but I would get blasted in Thrasher magazine. Like I'd win a
Wow.
contest, and they're like, "Well, Tony was doing his
Dude.
usual weird tricks."
You know
and-
what's so funny is that surfing was the exact same way with airs. Do you remember when air started to
yeah.
get popular in surfing? And surfing, the judges rejected it initially. It was like
Yeah.
these big carving turns. And there still was this like feeling of this isn't a traditional sport. it's almost like figure skating or something, you know, where you're judged off of like beauty or whatever it is. And like,
Yeah.
this is so
Or
technical.
we have these prerequisites.
Exactly.
Yep.
And now if you look at surfing, everybody is airing out.
It's skateboarding.
It is fucking skateboarding,
Yeah.
dude. There was a guy, I forget the guy's name, he brought a box and floated it in the wave pool.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see this?
Yeah.
That's fucking
And then he
stupid.
did a, what is it
Board
called?
slide.
Board slide.
Yep.
And it's like, I'm watching skateboarding on waves, and it was a little bit demoralizing, to be honest. Because I know this sounds crazy, but like when I grew up, I didn't feel so far from the elite surfers. There's a
Oh.
huge gap, don't get
Wait,
me
you're
wrong.
saying the big wave shit doesn't react the same? Because to me, when I see a guy do a kickflip or an aerial or 540 on
Yeah.
a surfboard, I go, whoa.
Yeah.
But when the guy rides the 20-foot wave, I go, fuck off.
So I view that as like a different sport.
Yeah.
It's a different sport for me
I feel like
because
those people are different animals.
they are
Yeah.
because there's like an element. It's almost like the downhill skiers. You know how
Yeah.
like there's, and I'm sure there's aspects of this with skateboarding where like there's an element of I don't care as much if I get injured or die, and
Yeah.
that gives me a huge competitive advantage.
That's the worst way to look at it, but yeah.
Right?
If we say that to ourselves, because the mega ramp is the big wave of skateboarding, and I'm one of those people. I'm 50 and I'll still have a fight with somebody. I'm not very smart. So the mega ramp thing is, they built the mega ramp, and Danny Way was a good friend of mine, and
Yep.
he's like, "You're not as good as me. I don't care, Danny. This is a fact. You can come because you'll never do anything that I'm doing, but no one else is allowed to come." So it was just him and I.
Wow.
So I could jump this fucking thing because I was less intimidated by going fast. I'm trying to say it in a nice way.
Yeah.
So then they brought it to the X Games, and they're like, "Jace, like, you're one of 10 people in the world that can jump it. Do you want to be in the X Games?" I was like, "Fuck
Hell
yeah,
yeah,
dude. I was
yeah.
announcing last year." So now I'm back in the contest, and you can tell you're a big boy.
yeah.
When you go on the mega ramp, you've got different pads on, your
Yeah.
board's a different shape, and everyone's like, "You're in the mega ramp."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, I'm in the mega ramp."
Yeah,
They're like,
it-
"Fuck."
You
High
take
stakes.
an elevator up. That's when I got to ride. I got to ride the one. I got one of the rare invites, the very first one that existed. That was in Temecula.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was invitational only.
Invitation only. So I got one of the I was one of the chosen few. And then when it came to the X Games, they got a much more solid, much bigger setup.
But they changed it. They changed the roll into this. You get an elevator, and then it's this big downhill roller coaster into the kicker. The one in Temecula had a gradual,
Very
slow
gradual.
one.
So you were preparing the whole time.
Yeah.
The one at X
So
Games
this is
like
immediate speed.
immediate
Yeah.
and once you get through the flat,
Straight into the
there's
air.
no time.
So,
So
before it
Your all
was,
systems go.
it was
It's
a
90
gradual
It's a 90
increase.
foot roll in. So you bomb a 90-foot roller coaster, hit the transition,
That's
and
at X Games.
and then when the kicker hits, when you go down a 90-foot roll in is in half a second. So when you get to the flat, straight away you're into the air.
Now the old one was
The
It
one
was-
was just more gradual. Like
it
it
had
was
like a
built
little
into a
bit,
hillside.
and
It was,
yeah,
the whole
it went
thing
down the
was
hill.
just the whole thing was just built. It wasn't there wasn't a huge budget for it, so it was just
they had to
kinda
find a hill,
using the
Yeah.
landscape,
use the
of it.
land,
Yeah.
right?
and then just work out the physics for the landing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Danny did that. I mean, he was the
Yeah.
pioneer of that.
Which
for
is
sure.
the hardest part of mega ramp is to know where you're going to land over the gap, and to know that the quarter pipe is built in a way that you land back in the transition. Because if you don't, it's not like you go to hospital. It's like you die. Like if you jump
break
the
that
gap,
last part.
the
What do you mean?
transition is the scariest part. The face wall.
the
So you
after,
jump-
after the jump.
After you land, and then you have to come up the quarter pipe.
Yeah.
The
and the quarter pipe's
quarter
the
pipe
when-
is far more
That's where the men
dangerous
live.
and scary.
The gap is
I
And,
would
and
have
the
never known
irony is
this.
that we skate half pipes all day long,
but not at 50 mile an hour.
but
Oh my God, the speed that you're hitting it is so insane.
you can feel it on your legs.
it is. But
You
at the
feel like
same
you got,
time, which I've
like
tried to explain,
200-pound fucking bell on your shoulders. You
But-
feel it there.
but the timing is the same.
Yeah.
So you're on this 28-foot ramp,
Okay.
going twice as fast, almost 3 times as fast as you usually go. But because of that, everything is the same timing for you.
It's quick.
So you use your legs in the same motion that you would on a regular half pipe. And then all of a sudden, you're 15 feet above it.
And you're getting another 5 feet. So you're getting another 50% on that. when you air out on the quarter.
Yeah,
You're-
when you leave that, I mean, we're getting into the weeds here, but let's say the ramp is 28 feet tall.
It's 30.
It was 30. Oh, it was 28 for transition.
Yeah.
2 feet of vert. So it's 30 feet tall, which is
Jake did a
2.5
20-foot back to the air.
times what a normal ramp is. So you're going about 2.5 times. So you're going at least 10 to 15 feet above the lip. And 10 to 15 feet above the lip on a regular half pipe is as high as you'll ever go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's you
So
can't-
now you're, fuck me, now you're 45 feet in the air.
Yeah. And then
You're 4 stories in the air.
and if you do a 20-foot back to the air, when you go past 15, I discovered, when you go past 15, you can, because when I'm in the air and I do a 10-foot air on a normal vert ramp, I can feel where I'm going to land. But if you go past like 13, 15, because when I started doing 20-foot airs in Mexico, I couldn't tell where I was going to land until I was coming back in.
I had that. So my first time.
So for a
my
second,
first
you
time
just
ever,
think you're dead,
yeah.
and then you
Break-
come back
break
in
this- break
and you're
this-
like, wait, no, I'm gonna land. I'm okay. But there's a whole
break,
second.
break this. Okay, explain.
This is not where I thought the conversation would
Yeah,
go.
I like this one though.
But
It's
yeah,
better than the
we're
first
far
one.
cry
Yeah.
from Weinstein and
Oh.
Cosby.
Yeah,
So
don't trigger him.
as you're going, I know you
I
saw
saw
me
it. I
about to
saw
go
it.
back in. Okay. So as you're going up, you're saying normal, half pipe, quarter pipe. On the way up, you can guess where you're going to land on the way up.
No, when you take off.
No, as you get in the air.
So as you get in the air, you're looking
eyeing,
back down.
You're eyeing the coping, and you can get a sense of, am I too far in? Am I too far out? What should I adjust?
What adjustments should you make
Yeah.
while you're up there?
But what he's talking about, and I experienced it at a lower height. The first time I ever left that quarter pipe, the mega ramp quarter pipe, I got to about 10 feet and started to question everything I know, everything I've ever experienced, because the coping is so far away.
Yeah.
You're
that
like,
it's like, I don't know if this is right.
so what happens in
maybe.
that moment? You
Shit,
prepare
just
for
hold-
landing.
Well, you hold on
Yeah.
until you really know.
It slows down like a car crash.
But I bailed my first 10 attempts.
Yeah.
So
Me
wait,
too.
being bailed, do you throw the board away and then
Yeah.
you just try to slide down?
I'm in it, I'm watching it, I'm starting to come down, and then I throw it away. And then at some point, I just had to convince myself.
How
this-
painful is that?
Not bad.
Because you're kind of coming down.
'Cause
As long
we-
as you land in
as-
the curve.
Yeah, as long as
But if you land too far out, then
Boom.
it really hurts. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all exponentially worse. But what he's saying is that you just question everything. Like,
Yeah.
I know this. I know everything's okay, but I've never seen this
Yeah, or
view. So
felt it.
maybe it's not.
Yeah. And if it's not, and you commit to it, you're fucked.
Yeah.
So you've really got to know that it's going to be okay.
I didn't realize all this time that the scariest part of that contest, what do you call it? That ramp?
Mega ramp.
The
about
discipline.
the ramp was the quarter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The jump is
It's easy.
if you
I'd do the
for the
gap
most
with
part-
no pads.
what's that?
I would do the gap with no pads.
If there wasn't a quarter that
Yeah.
you had to worry about.
Yeah.
And the landing's pretty easy too. Like,
If you could skate good, that's
I always
that's
said
doable.
that if so, the X Games they had a 50-foot jump and a 70-foot jump.
Oh
Right?
yeah. Oh, and they shortened because it didn't fit in the stadium the first year, so
No,
they
they didn't.
shortened
the
the
distance.
fucking flat bottom to the fucking quarter
the
pipe.
set-
So
70.
now you're going with even more
Yeah.
speed.
Yeah.
So I always said I would jump the 70 if there was an escape route.
So another flat that you could go down.
No,
Yeah.
just to get out, be done with it.
Oh, so fuck
I'm
the
not-
quarter.
I'm
Yeah.
not hitting the quarter pipe.
If you
after
jump the
70 feet.
70 and hit the quarter pipe, you're
You're-
probably doing 60.
I mean,
And you're going 20 foot whether you like
you're
it or
going
not.
20 foot
60
no matter
miles.
what.
And
that's
how
not-
does the board not get that rock or
It
the wobble?
depends
like
on who you
cranked.
are, but I've
So
seen it.
everything is just locked
Yeah, they're
completely.
bigger trucks, harder bushings, longer wheelbase. It's like
I don't
there's-
think they've marketed that event well enough. Like you guys describing it to me right now, all I want to do is see people do that. But when you watch it, it looks surprisingly easy because that first big jump,
Yep.
like I don't know how to say this, like it feels like you could do it without a board. Like it feels like when you land on the other side, the physics is worked out so perfectly, there would just be like a kind of nice coasting ride.
Yeah, no.
Whereas on a half pipe, if I see somebody fall, I'm like, that looks like excruciatingly
Yep.
painful thing. And I don't even think about the quarter on the other end.
I feel like I can explain it. NBA, when you watch it on TV and then you go to an actual game, I'm like, whoa, these guys are fucking
huge.
gigantic. But
Exactly.
they don't look gigantic on the TV.
Yep.
I feel like everybody that has watched a Mega Ramp contest is like, yeah, cool, I take it or leave it.
And then you
but if
see
you
it
went
live,
there and you
forget
went
it.
in the elevator and you stood over there, you'd be like, these people are fucking insane.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. And
But
then
it is the greatest feeling I've ever had in my life.
what is
Yeah, when you land
A
a
20-foot
full
back
pole,
there,
if you go over the gap and you land the quarter pipe,
it's the greatest ride ever.
yes,
what? And is it just
conquered the beast.
The
But, like,
adrenaline, dude.
it's the adrenaline. So the
Yeah.
adrenaline hit, nothing
Because when you get to 20, you go, oh, yeah, no, good, no, bad, no. And then by about 16, I'm like, oh, yep, I'm in the pocket. And I'm like, commit. And then, and there's no shock, there's no hit. It's smooth. But there was this whole thing before it
Yeah.
that when you come down
It's a lot
that
of
roll,
doubt.
then you're just like, fuck, yes, I made it and I'm alive and it didn't hurt. You know, it's like a huge celebration. For me,
I never went 20. There's no way.
What do you mean went 20, meaning 20 feet
20
in the
feet
air?
above, yeah.
What do you think the highest you've gone is?
Somewhere close to 15. Probably 14 when I did Japan Air. Probably got that up to
Right.
14.
Now, this is a choice.
Oh, yeah.
And what is the choice? You're not ollieing off of it. You're
I'm
slowing
not
down?
hitting the big gap.
Got you. Because the big gap is going to create enough speed
Yeah.
for you to
And
go up.
and if I hit the small gap, I'm not trying to increase my speed going up the quarter pipe, which means that you use your legs. to
Oh,
pump
yeah.
it.
You like
I pump
squat
that.
into it. And then pump.
He's given it everything he has. I'm just holding steady, waiting for that moment so that I survive it. And that's it. That's the secret. There you go. So you can go skate mega ramps now. Now you
Yeah,
know
I'm
all
ready
the
to go.
techniques.
But that's the thing about like mega ramp and like even with the surfing we were talking about, the big waves, that's its own thing.
Yeah.
So I look at like, even if you want to talk about like big, not even tall waves like Chopu, you know, the wave in Tahiti, like,
Just still gigantic.
or even pipe. Like those to me,
Those are terrifying.
that's big wave surfing.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Okay, we're on the same page. The head high, guys are doing crazy tricks, that's become skateboarding.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I
And
mean?
and the wave pools have become the skate parks.
Yeah.
And those are the fucking shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. No sharks.
Dude,
I like that.
Dude, as I've gotten older, I've got this weird fear of sharks.
Yeah.
And
I've
I didn't
always had
have it. No, I didn't have it as a kid.
Lucky you.
Yeah.
I've always had it.
Well, you're also from Australia where they're like around.
Whenever I'm dangling my legs in the ocean, I'm like, fucking.
Yeah.
I had a jet ski for a while, and every time I fell off and I had to swim over to it, I'd be like,
Yeah,
stop.
yeah,
I'd be like,
yeah.
it's probably almost got my ankles.
Yeah.
It probably almost ate me.
I did see one in Fiji right when I got out of the water.
No.
Yeah. We took a boat to this break and
Where'd you go? Which
near
Cloud break?
Taurua. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I surf
And
that.
really?
And I can't surf too.
yeah, well, it was
Keith Malloy pushed me into a 7-foot wave at Cloudbreak. And then
So
Sal
gnarly.
Masakela came paddling over to me. He's like, dude,
What the
you
fuck
just
are you
surfed
doing?
6 to 8 foot Cloudbreak. And I'm like, is that good? He's like, tell people and then let them see you surf.
Yeah.
Yes, it's good.
yeah. And he survived.
Yeah.
I made the mistake of catching the first wave of the set
Eee.
at Cloud Break,
Oh,
riding it in, kicking out, and like, what did I
Yeah.
do?
yeah.
And then I was doing the full tombstone. I don't know if you know tombstone, but if you have to duck under a closeout wave or that you're too late on it, you dive down as far as you can.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then it's
Your board is just pulled back.
your board is just pulled like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
So I tombstoned 2 waves and then went straight back to the boat. So when I'm in the boat, my son was there with his friend, and we all are in the boat waiting for his friend. And his friend's paddling, and we're just kind of watching him, waiting. And then all of a sudden, this fin goes
No.
between us
No.
and him.
Dude, not between.
And
You
he
have
looks
to s-
up, and
you
we
have to-
all look up, and we're like, shark? Like, no one really wanted to acknowledge it, but like, just come on, let's go.
And,
Let's go.
and now his face is watching your face, and you're watching his face paddle
We're
towards
all,
the
yeah,
boat.
we're all
like,
trying to be super calm, but
Wait,
at the
to
same
come in-
time, it was the boat driver was just like, like,
Don't worry
they
about
don't
it.
do it.
Yeah,
shark,
they don't
small,
care.
whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine. But I do remember that moment. Everyone was looking at each other, trying to get comfort from each other. Like,
Yeah.
this is okay, right?
Yeah.
Everything's cool.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't buy it. Sure.
Those Florida boys surf with sharks all the time. Like down in New Smyrna, they're just sharks in the water.
They're everywhere, and they
accept it.
don't bite people. So I
Yeah.
kind of get their argument.
Yeah.
They really are. Like, there's a place I surfed in Malibu where a guy goes, "You see it?" I'm like, "I see what?" He's like, "Fucking giant shark out there. I got a photo of it. Look at it breaching." And I'm like, "Wait, that's from right now?"
Yeah,
He's like, "Yeah, man, it's here all the time." And I'm like, "Fuck that." He's like, "Dude, it's been here for years with
Yeah.
people surfing. It's
Yeah,
never
yeah.
eaten anyone. Relax."
Yeah.
I did not go back there
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
It was like 10 foot, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm the injured turtle looking guy too. Like if I'm a shark and I'm like looking at the lineup, I'm like, that
Him.
guy ain't getting out of shit.
yeah.
He's not even gonna catch a wave.
Yeah. If I bite his leg off, he is just doing circles
Yeah.
till I come back.
Yeah, man.
God. Well, hey, Andrew, thank you for joining us.
Dude, thank
Oh,
you.
man.
This was pleasant, man.
And let's surf.
I would love
Yeah.
that.
We
Next
could go
time
out
I'm out
there.
here. Yeah, we'll
It's
go
like
in
it's happening
our
Oh,
backyard.
yeah.
at Andrew's house.
Uh,
Yeah.
it's looking kind of flat. It's a little
Yeah.
blown out. I don't know. Maybe,
Schultz's California
well.
estates.
No,
or
we
you know,
gotta do it.
or as elitists, maybe we can surf a wave pool.
Dude, let's go. Let's do you know what it is?
I'll go there.
Waco is. I think we even
So
spoke.
fun.
It is.
Yeah, he
fucking
goes.
so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fun.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's
yeah. So
one in New-
you went too. Yeah.
I went to Waco, and then there's one in New York that's not as good as Waco. But did you go to that one?
No,
American
but
Dreams.
I got invited to that one time and I couldn't make it.
Yeah. Scootin runs it,
It
and
looks. It's the same technology.
same
right?
tech.
Yep.
They just developed the pool differently because it's a multi-use pool. So they do it They do it like it's basically like a football field, right? But instead of doing it the long way, because that's what you want for the longer ride, they had it installed on the short way. So the rides are just kind of shorter.
Mm.
But it's just the best. Like, dude, the wave pool.
That's
Why are
what
waves in the ocean?
That's the thing. What's my
Right?
my
That's
brother?
the problem with waves, Andrew.
They're in the ocean.
That's my brother is a hardcore surfer
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
his youth and definitely a purist in that sense, where it's just like it's not really experiencing surfing or reading
Right.
waves. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to do
Yeah,
that.
I don't.
Yeah.
I want
I
it. Just what I want.
Yeah, your brother's not looking into it like
And I
I am.
have
Like,
the
what if you,
means, so
what if
let's
you
do
suck
it.
at
Let's do it.
surfing? It's way better to be there than in the ocean.
Bro,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
what I've noticed is like Kelly's place. Obviously, I want to do Kelly's, but
yeah,
like
I heard
that,
that's the best.
it's also the most unnatural, and I think the most anxiety inducing because it's like
It
one wave
absolutely
every
is.
5 minutes, or
well,
and
it's your turn,
you better get it right,
and if you
Oh,
miss
that's
it,
the one you told me about.
your buddy is down the line picking it up.
and you might get
And-
one wave that day.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
You, dude, there's a limited amount. Like, it's
It's limited amount. Well, I mean, you're gonna get a handful of tries, no
Right.
matter how big your crew is.
right.
But it's likely that you're gonna miss all of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And your crew is kind of hoping
Hoping.
you do
Well, I'm-
miss it because
Because they're hanging on the
pick up
shoulder, right?
So there's way more anxiety.
Yeah, I don't like that because it's hard for me to
But-
like. Yeah,
But
it's the best
if
wave
you-
you've ever.
yeah,
seen.
it's the best.
So that's the
awesome,
thing.
yeah.
Like, if you get up on it, obviously you're gonna have that amazing experience. But for me, like, the experience of surfing is, it occupies all of my mind.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel the same way about stand up and boxing.
I was gonna
Actually, I
say.
felt that way. Like, it is so intense that like survival matters. That like I'm focused on my breathing. I'm like watching the water. I'm planning. I'm predicting, and I'm not thinking about anything else in the world. And I get lost in it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And what I love about Waco and even American Dream is there are settings where the waves kind of come constantly or they come
Yeah.
in sets, and it recreates
It's
No
the
way.
ocean.
And there's camaraderie too.
Yeah, and it's like, okay,
your
you're on the
homies
first
are like,
one,
You're
yeah.
going. I got the second one. I'll
Yep.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I missed it. Just
Yeah.
go get the next one.
Yeah. So
Man, I want to go there.
yeah, we got to run it up at Waco.
All right.
Well,
We'll
thank
see
you
you
guys
there.
so much for having
Yeah.
me. I appreciate you, man.
Thanks. mate.
Thanks. Like, describe.
Do all that. Oh, check my special out.
Oh yeah, shit. We're really good
Like
at
Like
that.
and describe his special.
Do that. TheAndrewSchultz.com. You can buy my special. Do that. That'd be great, man.